everybody, it's time for a new episode of Mental Health Mondays. I'm Alex Warman here with Brooke Burho.
On our last episode, we talked about anxiety and depression.
This month, we will be jumping into the topic of self-care. In today's episode, we are going to discuss the different types of self-care, ways of practicing it, the benefits, and why this subject is important for everyone to know about.
Self-care is the practice of taking an active role in protecting your own well-being and happiness, specifically during stressful times. Even if you're not actively aware of it, we all take part in self-care, and it's different for everyone. In fact, there are 5 different types: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and social.
Sometimes people prefer acts of self-care that involve low amounts of energy, while other times they may feel up for a higher energy activity. It all depends on what you, as an individual, need from day to day. As another example, sometimes people like to be around others when they feel down, while at other times they prefer being by themselves.
Examples of physical acts of self-care can look like prioritizing sleep, exercising, going on a walk, playing your favorite sport, stretching, and eating nutritious foods. Examples of mental acts of self-care can include taking social media breaks, engaging in positive self-talk, and listening to music. Examples of emotional self-care are journaling, how you feel, acknowledging your emotions instead of burying them, and taking time to yourself.
Examples of social self-care can be setting personal boundaries for yourself, talking to the people you trust about how you feel, like friends, parents, and teachers, and going out to have some fun. Examples of spiritual self-care include meditating, going out in nature, and expressing gratitude.
There are many personal benefits that come with taking time to your self-care. Some of these benefits include lessening effects of anxiety, depression, and stress, prioritizing ourselves, also minimizing our frustration and anger.
Self-care even improves our concentration. It has been proven to increase our happiness and to boost our energy as well. Okay, welcome Harry and Bethany. Thank you for being with us today. So Beth, we'll start with you. Why do you think that self-care is important?
I think self-care is important because I find that when you're in school, it's easy to have priorities outside of yourself. So focus on schoolwork, sports teams, clubs, stuff like that. It's really hard to maintain both your personal life and your school life. So I think that if you spend a little bit of time here and there to do things you like, do the hobbies you like, stuff like that, it's easier to stay in tune with yourself, and you can do things a lot easier since you aren't prioritizing everything but yourself.
Okay, that's a great answer, Bethany. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Okay, so the next question's for the both of you. What are your favorite ways to practice self-care?
Personally, my favorite ways to practice self-care and the ways I find most beneficial to my mental health and just health in general are getting 8 hours of sleep. I think that's a big one almost every day. And exercising in some way every day. It doesn't have to be intense, just a walk in the park or just a run. And doing, as Bethany said, doing things you enjoy. I like playing chess and reading, maybe drinking some tea, which I find just really beneficial.
Awesome, good answer. What about you, Beth?
Personally, I like being alone when I do my self-care, so I will either listen to music or go on a walk with my dog. Yeah.
Awesome. So, Harry, what can we do to encourage others to practice self-care?
Well, firstly, you can talk about the benefits of self-care and ways you can achieve that. You can also support friends when they are doing that, so they can keep doing it.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. Thank you guys both very much for being with us today. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Hi everyone, welcome to this month's misconception session. Brooke, what is the most common misconception about self-care?
The most common misconception is actually the belief that self-care is just something that girls do. Everyone deserves to do it and should take time to do and prioritize themselves, self-care, regardless of their gender. What are some more myths about self-care?
There are multiple myths about self-care, unfortunately. One being that self-care has to be earned. This isn't true because self-care is not a prize to be won. You're always entitled to it. Another misconception is that engaging in self-care is selfish. Self-care is actually one of the most selfless things that you can do for yourself. Another misconception is that self-care is the same for everybody. Self-care is a totally individualized practice that everybody views differently. It's absolutely not the same for everyone. A final misconception is that it is expensive to practice self-care. There are many ways of practicing self-care that have nothing to do with money at all. Self-care doesn't have to be something that costs you. Thanks a lot for joining us on this month's misconception session, and we'll see you next time. After After diving into the topic of self-care, what is the most important takeaway?
The most important thing to remember is to take time for yourself. Doing this can be very beneficial for your mental health.
Self-care can look like whatever you want. Your relationship with yourself will blossom once you put in the care. The coping strategies that we learn through this can really transform our lives.
Yes, Alex, nourishing our physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual social state of mind can actually be life-changing.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Mental Health Mondays. Remember, it is okay to not be okay, and help is always available if needed. We'll see you next time.